Books support us in our solitude and keep us from being a burden to ourselves. Jeremy Collier, a 17th century English theater critic, knew the true power of books. Do you? How many of you enjoy reading? And it can be anything. It can be a good summer beach read, to a historical expose on the JFK assassination, and it can even be your textbooks, although I completely understand if it's not. To read a book is to completely immerse yourself in its world. It reveals its secrets to you, and it asks nothing in return but patience while you tell its story. Paperback or hardcover, the Daily Collegian or the coveted Cosmopolitan magazine, sorry Damon, there are so many worlds to choose from, each waiting for you to become entranced in their pages and words. But the best part about books, they will never leave you. They will never abandon you on the nights that you are vulnerable and looking for an escape, and they will always whisk you off into the sunset of your dreams when they let you elude the troubles and hardships of life. What would you do if on nights like these, during the most turbulent and trying times you've yet to face, you had no books? No escape at all. It seems very unrealistic to us as college kids. We have roommates, cell phones where our best friends are only a text away, and you can always find something to read, even if it's the back of your shampoo bottle. This situation, however, doesn't just exist in the confines of this speech. It's a real-life situation for American soldiers all around the globe, from Afghanistan to Uzbekistan. The hardships of battle wear heavy on the soldiers overseas. They are in foreign lands, separated from their families, and in most cases confined only to the military bases that the United States has obtained permission to occupy. Of course, you may say, but that's the life of a soldier, and they're not alone. They have their buddies, they have their units, they have their companies. They're not alone. But are they? Statistics may prove otherwise. In 2009, Time magazine reported that the toll of military suicides was the worst since the government began keeping records in 1980. The suicide rate for military forces in the U.S. has risen 5 years in a row, and in 2009, 20% of all suicides in the United States were made up of military men and women. If you compare this to the population of 7.6% of veterans living in the United States, the rate of military suicides is drastically higher than the rate of suicides in the general population. This suicide rate is shown to be higher in soldiers who have been deployed as opposed to those who have not, and for every suicide, at least 5 members of the U.S. Armed Forces have been hospitalized for trying to harm themselves. Most of these cases have been attributed to post-traumatic stress disorder, or PTSD, which, if you don't know, is a condition of persistent mental and emotional stress occurring as a result of injury or severe psychological shock. This mental and emotional stress is a burden only to the soldier himself, and most don't seek help because they aren't able to fully understand their condition, and if they do, they feel like less men. The soldier then keeps these feelings of emotional withdrawal and vivid dreams buried deep inside his head and his heart, where they weigh heavy on his conscience. So I'm going to ask you again, is it possible for soldiers to be truly alone when they're surrounded by all their comrades? Yeah, I believe so. By now you may be wondering what the military suicide rate, or PTSD, has to do with books. Well, it's very simple. While a book may not be an escape for every soldier in the United States Armed Forces, it's worth a shot to see if it can be an adequate diversion to transfer the soldier's psyche from battle to the book's world where anything is possible. That's where Operation Paperback comes in. Operation Paperback is a nonprofit organization run by military wives in Pennsylvania, and this volunteer organization began in 1999 by sending books to troops stationed in Kuwait and Saudi Arabia. Since their humble beginnings, they've shipped over 1.3 million books overseas, and they have a volunteer network of over 10,500 individuals and businesses from every state. They've even been recognized by the president. Becoming a volunteer of Operation Paperback is extremely easy. The application process takes about 1 minute. This is all you have to fill out. You can either send money or packages, and the monetary donations are 100% used for the shipping of books or the buying of books. After you become a volunteer, you'll receive monthly newsletters about certain book requests that some troops want. And I've been an active member of Operation Paperback since 2006, when during my freshman year of high school, my ex-Marine history teacher encouraged us to find small ways to support the troops. The experience of sending a box of books and magazines to a man I had never met was quite an out-of-body experience. I had no idea how this would help someone in the middle of an Asian desert. A month later, however, I received a heartfelt thank you letter in the mail from the soldier, telling me that Charles Dickens, it was his favorite, and Oliver Twist brought back so many memories of his childhood. And I don't even like Dickens. I still have that letter. It's buried deep in a special box, tucked neatly under my bed. The feeling of knowing that I helped someone in one of the most turbulent times of his life was more than enough for me to continue volunteering for the organization. So when you go home at the end of the semester, which is so soon, I encourage you to take a look around your room, your dad's office, the coffee table. Chances are there are books and magazines hiding throughout your house that you will probably never read again. Instead of trashing them, why not send them to a man or woman in desperate need of an escape? I won't say that you'll save their lives, but you just know you might. You don't have to support the cause to support the troops, and Operation Paperback is one of the easiest ways to help. All it takes is a minute, a cardboard box, a Sharpie marker, and a couple of books you know you can part with. As Holbrook Jackson said, the time to read is any time. No apparatus, no appointment of time and place is necessary. It's the only art that can be practiced at any hour of the day or night, whenever the time and inclination comes. That is your time for reading. In joy or sorrow, health or illness.